Good morning, everyone. Today is September 3rd, 2024. 80 years ago today, the crew of the 5 Grand, co-piloted by my grandfather, Richard Jacobson, conducted a bombing mission in Brest, France, which is located right here. Now, as a reminder of where we're at in the war, Paris at this point had already been liberated. We had a strong presence within France and were pushing our way with many operations and bombings happening in Germany itself. However, German forces still had strength in numbers throughout France, including in this area. And as of September, there's a document you can read from the World War II History Museum. You can find on their website about forgotten battles, forgotten assaults. And you can look up Brest, France for that one. And in September, Dwight D. Eisenhower approved the use of the maximum number of available aircraft to start attacking this area and hitting targets. And one of those dates was September 3rd. So I'm going to be reading about some of that, but before we do, as I was digging through some of my grandfather's old things, this is a photo of one of the morning briefings that they would get before a mission. I didn't notice any one of these particular individuals actually being him. He may have been taking the photo, or it might have been a generic. It could have been this guy hiding in the back corner. But as far as I'm concerned, he wasn't actually in this photo. But this gives you a feel and a thought for what these briefings looked like for air crews. And among those things, they'd be getting maps like this, discussing this. And I actually think this may have been the map specifically for their mission, because you notice the target area here is of Brest, France. And they would have flown over from Portland here, across the channel, made their way down, over, conducted their bombing mission, gotten out, and then returned back over through Portland. Now, their actual location that they started out was an airfield just outside of Sudbury, which is right about here. So they would have flown across England to here and then made their mission. Well, let's hear about this mission from the viewpoint of John McBride, the waist gunner. At least it was primarily waist gunner on most of the missions with the 5 Grand crew. Brest Peninsula, France, September 3rd, 1944. The CQ pushed us out of bed real early. We ate, we were briefed, and were out at the planes before we finally woke up. It was a beautiful night with a full moon that made the night almost as light as day. Our job was to hit several German installations on the Brest Peninsula, France. We flew over England parallel to the channel for a long time before starting our flight to France. Entering France over Allied-held territory near Cherbourg, which is right here, Cherbourg. Near Cherbourg, we flew into a solid layer of clouds which overhung the entire country. Although we were already flying around 12,000 feet, we went still lower in order to be able to bomb underneath the clouds. Soon we turned southwest and started on our bomb run. Boys began to throw out chaff, and everyone became very wide awake as we passed the IP, I'm not sure what IP is, and the bomb bay doors were opened. So it must have something to do with their target location. Chaff is a bunch of small flakes of metal that they would throw out of the planes to throw off radar of the enemy. We passed another group going the other way and prepared for a second run on the target since their bombardier had failed to release their bombs on the first run. Clouds kept drifting over our target, but luck was with us, for just as the time came to drop the bombs, a clear space appeared in the clouds which allowed time for last-minute corrections. And an excellent pattern was the result. When we flew back across the channel and landed at the base at 1 p.m., we then flew back across the channel and landed at the base at 1 p.m. No enemy fighters were seen, and we didn't run into any flak thanks to the chaff, which had thrown the German radar sets off. The weather was quite cool, and I flew the tail since Boyer was flying as ball gunner with another crew. On the way over to Brest, we flew right near London, something we were not supposed to do, but it was certainly a pretty sight. Received the Air Medal after this mission. That concludes the missions that crew conducted in France. They're going to return on the 13th. We'll talk about their return to Germany. Then they'll have one other operation outside of that in Holland, and then the rest will be in Germany. So stay tuned. In about 10 days, you'll get the next update to coincide with the 13th September. Darmstadt. I'm going to have to learn the pronunciation of that. Germany.